Welcome to episode number 49 of the Create Your Vibrant Life podcast. Today's episode is all about why you need to let go to achieve success. You've heard that phrase, let go to let in, and today we're going to talk about how, in order to achieve success, it has to start with the process of letting go. And today's episode, we're also going to talk about 8 things that you have to let go in order to have a successful life. Hello, visionaries. Welcome to Create Your Vibrant Life podcast, where you can create the life you desire by tapping into your inner wisdom. I'm your host, Padma Ali. I'm widely known in the field of psychology to create long-lasting transformation. And now, I'm here to help you create the life you desire using a combination of neuropsychology and ancient healing practices. This podcast is for you, evolved, overachieving leader who's ready to unlock your highest potential. I'm here to guide you through a process of self-discovery to be the creator of your destiny. And you can do all of that by just taking aligned actions, tapping into the power of your brain, your inner wisdom, and ancient practices. So stay tuned, folks. I am so delighted you are here. What's up, visionaries? This is your host, Padma Ali. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Create Your Vibrant Life podcast. Last week, we talked all about change. And today, we're going to talk about letting go. I'm laughing because letting go, again, is one of those things that is sometimes very hard for us humans, isn't it? But we have to let go. You know, we all have various levels of problems that we face on a daily basis. You know, there's more responsibilities, more problems, right? There's just a lot happening. Now, what happens when you continue to think about the problem and how you solve it? What happens, this is something I've seen over and over again, is that we get caught up in trying to solve it from a thinking level. We keep trying to think our way to problem solving. And have you considered that in order to get the solution for what you are seeking, sometimes just thinking about it, not sometimes, most of the time, just thinking about the problem is actually counterproductive because it doesn't give you the answers. It just keeps you stuck in the problem loop, doesn't it? This is one of the reasons why we're talking about letting go. You know, we've all heard the story of Archimedes, who got the answer in his bath. Am I saying his name correctly? Archimedes? Sometimes I don't know, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. The philosopher who got his I think he was a philosopher. Now I'm like, did I get all the facts mixed up? Who got his answer in the bath when he was seeking an answer. He didn't get the answer. And then in his bath, he gets the answer. And then he runs around the streets naked, screaming, "Eureka, Eureka." You know who I'm talking about. So hopefully I've spelled his name properly. And I got the facts right of whether he was a philosopher or I think he was a philosopher. Never mind. You know who I'm talking about. The reason I brought up that story is because you have to stop what you're doing. You have to stop the old patterns before you can find a solution. This is often why when you sleep on something, the answers actually come to you the next day. Our brain only has so much capacity before it gets fried. It is a machine. At the end of the day, your body is a machine. Your brain is a machine. The answers will not come from thinking, but beyond thinking. You know, if you haven't done this experiment, I'm actually going to invite you to do it right now. You can get a cup of water, full of water, and now get a jug. Make sure you do this in the sink, by the way. And start pouring water into this full cup of water. So what happens? It's going to overflow. Is there any space for that cup to hold the water? No. And that's exactly what happens with our brain. Like you can't think your way through many solutions. You have to first empty out the brain before you find solutions that you've been looking for, especially when it comes to success. Again, like if you haven't listened to the episodes earlier on, please listen to them, because success is not defined by anything external. It comes from within. And in order to create something you haven't yet created, you have to think outside the box, because if you already had the ability to create what you haven't yet created, you would have created it already. That's the conundrum. So it has to start with letting go. You know that famous Joseph Campbell's quote, "We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that's waiting for us." Let me repeat that. We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that's waiting for us. And that's the whole premise of this podcast episode, letting go. Letting go is so hard. Again, like if you haven't yet listened to the podcast before this about change is hard. Letting go is hard for the brain because it's hardwired to keep you safe. It's survival based. And letting go, this is why so many people hoard, because there's fear. It comes from fear. It comes from inability to believe that you can have anything you want, that there's a constant flow of whatever you seek. There's a constant flow of life, and anything you want, you can have it. But this is one of the reasons we have a hard time, whether it's letting go of clothing, whether it's letting go of people, whether it's letting go of your identity, of whatever you are in your life, because we feel we have this attachment to who we are based on what we see as in our circumstances outside of ourselves. Even identity. It's so hard for most of us, many of us, to let go of the identity. I am so and so, right? I'm not talking about just your name, but I'm talking about your title, or I'm talking about that's all ego driven. Even the identity of being a parent, because children are not ours. But so many people get stuck in that, and then the children leave the home, and then they are like, who am I? Who am I? And this is vital. So we need to start looking at letting go. But what do you let go? What do you let go? So for this podcast, as I was researching, how do I formulate these things? I came up with 8 things to let go. 8 things that when you let go of these 8 things, again, you can create the life you want. You can create your vibrant life by letting go of these things. Number 1, you will hear me talk about this over and over again, because this is vital. This is the most important thing. Letting go of beliefs. Beliefs are nothing but thoughts that have come from past situations and circumstances, by either observing or witnessing or being in them, that have then become beliefs that we live our entire life based on those beliefs. But these are beliefs and thoughts that are no longer serving you. So letting go of beliefs that are no longer serving you. Most of us, most people, get trapped in thoughts. Most people get trapped in thoughts of current circumstances. I don't have a job. How am I going to pay the bills? What's going to happen next? How am I going to get my child enrolled in this program? Whatever that is. How am I going to do this? Those thoughts then become beliefs based on our past experiences, doesn't it? But the experience is over. But you're still creating from the past. The past, you look back at the past only to see how far you've come. That's the only purpose of the past. And I'm really inviting you to consider what are some of the thoughts, some of the beliefs that are not serving you anymore. Especially, this belief. I hear a lot of people say this belief. I have to work hard to make something happen. My hard work got me here. There's a belief that life will only happen if you work hard. That's a belief. I'm not saying sit on your... I know sometimes kids listen to the podcast, so I have to be mindful. I don't swear, but sometimes words come out. I'm not saying you need to just sit and do nothing, but I'm inviting you to look at some of these beliefs. It's the energy behind it. If you feel like life is hard, that you have to work hard, or that unless you work hard, it's up to you to make something happen, then you base your entire life based on those beliefs. Okay? So this is something I'm just inviting you to take a step back and look at it. If there's anything in your life where it is a struggle, where there is resistance, where it feels difficult, there's a belief that's holding that in place. That is the part I'm inviting you to look at and change, let it go, and shift it. And I invite you to look at that closely, because without looking at that, you will continue to create from your old beliefs. Okay? When you can actually let go, you can then start to look at what is it that I want to bring in. And you can start to bring in things based on your unique template. What I mean by that is, I refer to something called human design when I work with my clients. Human design, again, I look at all of these things not as set in stone, but as a tool that can help serve me to understand myself more and more and more. So with my clients, this is one of the vital pieces of work that I do. Understand yourself, know your true essence without the baggage of the clothes you wear. I'm not metaphorically, not really, but metaphorically, what clothes are you wearing? Because those clothes are nothing but beliefs, stories, thoughts, fear, whatever that is that's keeping you trapped. And who are you? So I use something called human design. I love human design. I'm going to have a guest very soon who's going to talk about human design. But when you can understand your unique template that you're born with, right? Then you can, when you let go of things that are no longer serving you, you can bring in what is your true essence. How do you live your life from your true essence? So this is one of the things that is very important to sit with. What beliefs are you willing to let go? Do you need to let go? Not even willing. You may not have a choice. If you want something different, you have to let go. All right. The second thing you need to let go, you don't need to do anything. This is just a suggestion. Okay. The second thing that would be helpful to let go of is letting go of the past. And I referenced this in the first one, which is past is nothing but past is done. Any experience you've had in life is a learning opportunity. And when you can look at it from that viewpoint, you will never feel trapped in your current life, because you're like, all right, I learned from this. What can I do? Let me move on. Let go of your past. Stop living from your past. Stop living from regrets. Stop living from what didn't happen, or something that did happen, something that felt like was so nice and it went away, it got taken away. Again, change is inevitable, right? So if you continue to hold on to the past, you will not be able to stay in the present and not create from this present moment. So my invitation to you is to really look at, when are you ruminating about the past, right? Okay, so the third one to let go of is letting go of control. The past episode episode number 48, I think, was all about control. So go listen to that if you haven't already. Control is an illusion. Control can show up in wanting to micromanage everything. You know, when I first started my business, I've always only worked for myself ever since I started my private practice as a psychotherapist like 20-some years, 22 years ago. I've only worked for myself. But this is a whole new era, right, where we are mostly digital and all my work is online. And it was a very different learning experience for me doing this all online, which I just love the freedom of that. But I noticed I had a very hard time letting go. I was having this tight grip on my business. I was having tight grip on like how everything needed to be. And when I took a step back, I realized the need to control comes from fear. Fear is what drives that. One of my favorite books. I love this book. It's my absolute favorite. I live my life based on this book. It's a book by Florence Scovel Shinn. And I give this to my clients when I start working with them. It's really an amazing book. If there's one book I recommend, this is the one, because it helps you. It was written I think 100 years ago. But everything that she wrote then is applicable to your life right now. So she gives this example. She says that she talks about this example of this woman being scared of ladders. She's scared of walking underneath ladders. And she has to go somewhere. And there's a ladder. She has to go for this very important appointment or something. And she sees this ladder and she can't walk past it. And she's kind of stuck there. So she walks back. And then she says, nope, I'm done. I have to face my fear. I'm facing my fear right now. So she turns around and goes back. She sees the ladder is gone. See, that's the beauty. Like when you're ready to face your fears, the fear generally disappears. We all have heard this analogy or this analogy of you're walking in the dark and you see something on the ground and it looks like a snake and you're paralyzed and you're just stuck there. And then the light comes on, you shine a flashlight and you realize it's a piece of rope, right? That's exactly what fear is. Fear is made up in your mind most of the time. I'm not talking about physical safety stuff. I'm talking about the mental stuff. And control and fear are very much connected. Number 4, what you need to let go of. This is a good one, especially for you visionaries. I'm positive that most of you get trapped in this, because if you're a visionary, there is no way you haven't confronted this. It is, ready? Perfectionism. Perfectionism. Ooh, making it perfect. If it's not perfect, I'm not going to put it out there, right? We do this. How many of you do that? Be honest. It has to be perfect. I have to cross all the T's and dot the I's. Without that, everything has to be grammatically correct. Wow. And as a visionary, I am sure that there's a perfectionistic part of you. But you know what? You know why perfectionism exists? It has nothing to do with being perfect. It has everything to do with fear of judgment. There you go. Truth bomb, mic drop. Perfectionism and judgment are closely related. If you fear judgment, you will try to be perfect. But we all know this. There's no such thing called perfectionism. You're going to be doing this all the time, which is getting ready to be ready, getting ready to be ready, to be ready. It will never be put out there, whatever it is that you're trying to put out there, if you get caught up in perfectionism. So perfectionism and judgment are if there's fear of judgment, you're going to try to make things perfect, and that will not work, my friends. So get over it. Get over it and do it like I've talked about in the past episode, about from a place of service, from a place of joy, from a place of impact. When you can focus all your attention on how is this going to impact somebody, you will not be caught up in perfectionism. People, this podcast, I know is not perfect. It isn't. I've heard people give me feedback in air quotes. Oh, the music is too loud. Your intro is too long. Like, these things. I hear this. Oh, why did you read the reviews? Oh, that was distracting. I don't care. I know the content I put out is going to impact people. And that's my focus, comes from a place of service. So I'm going to do it. I don't care if it's perfect or not. A mentor once told me 70% perfect is success. 100% perfectionism is failure. You know why it's a failure? Because you will never get it out there. But when you do it 70% perfect, it's going to be there. You're going to put it out. It's going to impact someone. Number 5, what you need to let go. This is connected to the fear of judgment. It's what will people think? The big what will people think? It's a big one. It's a fear of being judged again. It comes from survival. I grew up in India, and this is one of the things I was told constantly. It's a Indian society. I don't know how it is. It's been like decades since I left, so I have no idea what it's like right now. But when I was growing up, oh goodness gracious, it was such a we culture. It's such a collective culture that it was all about, you had to do, like I was programmed to be thinking about, how is my action going to impact some auntie somewhere sitting 500 miles away? I don't care. But I was constantly, that was the message I was told. What will they think? What is your family? You're letting down your family if you do this. And it's BS. BS. When we think about trying to please other people, you're not going to live your life. That's the bottom line. And if you don't live your life, you're not going to be happy. If you're not happy, that is going to impact everyone around you. So just do what makes you happy. Forget about what people think, because here's the bottom line. You may think you're that important, but you're not. People forget about you. People will. I'm talking about even celebrities, right? Like something happens. Oh my God, such a big sensation. Then 5 days later, they've moved on to the next person. That's just how human beings are. We're so self-centered. All right, I'm going to get off my big horse right now. Forget about what will people think. Just do what feels right to you. Live life from a place of joy, integrity, and love, and be you. And bottom line, another piece to the reason why we fear being judged is because we're trying to protect ourselves from feeling bad, correct? You're trying to protect yourself from feeling bad, but feelings will not kill you. They're just feelings. Face the disappointment. Face it, like I was telling you about the example. Face the ladder. Face it. Because once you face it, once you face these feelings that you think are just going to be devastating, because that's what the ego, that's what the brain will tell you. It is life or death. It's life or death. Oh my God. You showed up without makeup today. Oh my God. Like, people are going to judge you. Who cares? They will move on. You will move on. Face the judgment. Face the inner critic in you first. And guess what? All of those things will die out. One of my favorite authors, Napoleon Hill, wrote this, and I love this. I love this quote. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has a flock of opinions, ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. If you are influenced by opinions when you reach decisions, you will not succeed in any undertaking. All right? That's the bottom line. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Number 6. This is really a good one too. Letting go of resistance. What happens when you resist anything? Whether it's a mind thing or it's a physical thing, when you resist, what happens? Try this. Take one, if you have someone with you and wherever you are, you can have them put out their palm and you put out your palm and you resist. What happens? It pushes back, doesn't it? What you resist will persist. So if you're avoiding something, if you're resisting something, whether it's a circumstance in your life or it's a feeling or it's a mind, something, it will continue to push back. It will show up. I often think about this whack-a-mole, right? Like the kids play this thing when you hit it on its head, it pops up from somewhere else. That's what happens when you resist something. It comes out from another place and another time. You can never avoid it completely. I invite you to take the path of least resistance. What does that even mean? It took me a long time. I am the recovered control freak. And it took me a long time to accept this. When you can accept, that's the word, right? That's the key. That's the key to not resisting, which is acceptance. When you can accept things where they are, if you can accept yourself where you are, doors will open up. The first thing is to accept. Even something that you're working on, right? Maybe you're working on being more loving towards yourself and you find yourself being critical of yourself. Accept it. Okay, I had that thought again. Okay, I did that again. All right. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity one more time to learn this. And that's it. It starts with that. I don't know if you've heard of Tara Brach. If you haven't, I would invite you to look her up. She is a beautiful, beautiful author. She's a motivational speaker. You can hear her stuff. It's so incredibly soothing. I love her voice. Tara Brach, B-R-A-C-H, and she talks about radical acceptance. I love her meditations. It's just very soothing and calming. And she's a Buddhist and she brings that philosophy in. It's amazing. I think she has her own podcast too. Check her out. All right, number 7, letting go. I love this one too. It's letting go of comparison. Comparison. Oh, brings, the competitiveness, competitiveness. We all have that, which is just kind of fun. But when you become, I can't say this word. When you try to become competitive because you're comparing yourself, then that's a downhill. That's a trap for you. But comparison, right? Comparison, letting go of comparison is so important because you are unique. When are you going to accept that? You are absolutely unique. There's a reason you are who you are, whatever your name is, whatever your makeup is, you are who you are. The divine consciousness made you a particular way because it wanted to express itself through that particular form. So stop comparing yourself. Really, honestly, just stop comparing. It does not serve you. It will not serve you. It's not going to work because you are unique. There's a reason why consciousness is trying to flow through you in this particular form. I'm going to read, you again might have already heard this beautiful, it's like a passage from Martha Graham. If you haven't looked her up, please look her up. This passage is so beautiful, so beautiful. I'm going to read it out for you guys. And really take in the essence of this because this summarizes why comparison is such a waste of time. Okay, you ready? There is a vitality, a force, a quickening that is translated through you in action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It's not your business to determine how good it is, not how it compares with other expression. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channels open. People, take this in. If you need to rewind and hear it again, please do. There's only one of you. Only one of you in the entire expression of this existence on this plane. There is no one like you in this form. There will be nobody like you in this form. Even if you believe in past lives and reincarnations, you will never be, this particular DNA will never be expressed in this one particular form. So please allow you to be you. No more comparison, and live you. All right, my friends, my dear visionaries, we're going to talk about the last one that you need to let go. Again, not need to. I take that back. I invite you to let go. And this is very much connected to the one that I just read for you about comparison. This is about letting go of undervaluing yourself. Let go of undervaluing yourself. This is so important. Again, if there's only one unique expression of you, when you beat yourself up, when you are hard and critical of yourself, when you're not kind to yourself, it miscreates. Start with loving, kind compassion towards your own self first. Love yourself the way you are, as cliched as it sounds. The more you can love yourself, the more you can value who you are, your expression, the more you can create the life you desire. I promise you, it will happen. Because when you value yourself, others will value you too. And that, my dear visionaries, brings us to our end of this episode. I am incredibly grateful for you to share this time with me. It means a lot to me because this is my expression, right? This is my expression, and I literally let information come through. I have some outline of what I want to talk about, but mostly it is letting the universal consciousness speak through me for you. So I'm grateful for your journeying, for you journeying with me, and for me to be of service to you. And as always, if you feel called, I invite you to write a review. And as a law of reciprocity, when you write a review, take a screenshot and send it to support@padmaali.com, and I will send you a gift card. Me or my team will send you a gift card, and this is valid only till the month of February, because it's my way to give back, and honoring the reciprocity. All right, my dear visionaries, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. I have a request for you. If you found value, chances are that your friends and family will too. So if you can leave a positive review on iTunes, it will help reach so many more people. And if you have any topics or questions you would like me to feature, please send them to support@padmaali.com. And lastly, Please share your takeaways and breakthroughs with me on Instagram at Padma Ali. Thank you so much for tuning in.